Hello. Today I want to introduce you to an idea called Slotty sculpture, for want of a better name. And I'd like you to have a look at these objects I have here. And the point about these glorious three-dimensional objects is that they started life as flat pieces of cardboard, and they have been cut out and slotted together to make these rather colourful three-dimensional figures. Now that's a basic principle that we probably all played with at some time or other when we were children, and I'd just like to go over the technique again today and suggest to you that we can make some jolly good toys for your children, or have them make them with you using this principle. I'm going to draw on here some simple shapes of a bird, in fact, just to show the idea. And then I'll cut it out. Right, and I'm going to use a trimming knife for this, but if you've got young children you're going to give the idea to as an activity, then I suggest you give them scissors, because this is rather too sharp for small fingers and hands. But if you're making things for the youngsters, you might find a trimming knife a clean and effective way of doing it. Fine. Now I'm going to cut a base out for it. Now, the thing about this Slotty sculpture is that the shapes ought to be very simple. You can see that that is basically a very simple shape, and so is this one here. There we go. Now the next important thing is that I've got to make two slots, one here and one here. And these two things will slot together. Now that brings us to the next principle. That is that you in fact cut a slot rather than a slit. There is a difference. The slot is two parallel cuts, one a tiny bit apart from the other. In fact, the distance apart should be the thickness of the material we're using. And in this case it's a card, so the distance isn't too far apart. Now there we have two slots. I'm going to bang them together like so, and he should stand up like that. I'll very quickly make a set of wings for him over here, and we'll even slot him together too, just to show you how that works. There we go. I need to cut a slot in him now. I'll do that so as to make it more effective. Fine. Well, that demonstrates that first principle, and that you have a lot of fun making toys that way, making simple shapes and making them stand up. But we can use the principle to make a construction set. That's a really good idea. And for this we use cardboard we cut from the cardboard cartons that we have lying around the house. And if you made a kit like this, and you had your youngsters get down and make these sort of things, I'm sure they'd have a construction set which they could use with a lot of imagination, and you'd be surprised how long the thing lasted. We've made one and we've had it at home for some time, and children have a lot of fun with it. The wonderful thing about it is it's very low cost, whereas most commercially bought construction sets are fairly expensive. That's the principle, and by using that with standard size slots, standard size pieces of card, putting tape around the edges of them, and then painting them with some coloured paint, poster paint, you can make a pretty attractive sort of kit. Well, I'll show you one we've constructed here, and well, we're going to construct for you right here. This is what it might look like. Very simple shapes of a standard size with the slots cut in them, and I've cut some doorways in it there. This could be a zoo or an ark or a doll's house or whatever, but we'll see what this turns into. That will go on the top there. There's another piece of cardboard cut out and painted. What else have we got here? Here are 4 walls cut and slotted together the same way with apertures in them. Here is some battlements, we'll call them. Little figures could stand on that. We have a crenellated castle here. I'll see if tower or keep, whatever it was called. That slots together like so. Yes, we can see how that works. And of course these can go in different positions. And here is a keep, I think it's called. Again, slotted together, you can see how that works. And I found some cylinders in the kitchen. I think they had aluminium foil around them or some such material. And we put those like so. A few figures make up the whole ensemble. But you can see that using that principle you could make them for all kinds of farmed animals or farmyards or what have you. Just before I go, I'd like to show you this other technique that you could use for very young children, just simply cutting out shapes with a pair of scissors, and if you didn't want them to cut slots, so they found that a bit difficult, they can use plasticine as a joining material. A little ball of plasticine put on the animal or the form, and other pieces jammed into it will make quite an interesting little construction set for them, and they'll have a lot of fun doing those. But finally, you may wish to have plans or instructions for these, and if you'd care to write to us at Make and Do, P.O. Box 2606 Christchurch, we'll send them out to you. Don't forget the number, Make and Do, P.O. Box 2606, and we'll have those in the mail for you. Well, that's all for now. Cheerio.